Okay.
Let me drop on Twitter. We can get started. I saw the tier list you made with Sin. It was really.
Oh yeah, that was a fun one. Yeah, that was a fun one to make.
Yeah, it was really entertaining to watch.
Thank you.
Yeah, I had to skip the arcs I hadn't read.
Oh yeah, that's fine. Spoiled. I mean, that's understandable because yeah, we talked some spoilers in that one.
Yeah, it was good. Hello, Speed Place, Obol, Melk, and Echo XP. Welcome your faces to the stream. How's your day going? Okay.
Hello.
Sorry. My computer is laggy when I do a lot of stuff on it, so
nah, it's all right.
Second.
I had a situation like that too with my old one. I actually just got a new computer recently because my old one was getting a little bit worn down.
Oh. Yeah. Do you edit your own videos?
Yep.
I know it's like a little less on the editing scale, but I was just curious.
Yeah, it's less, but it's still because I'm due like 5 a week, so yeah.
Yeah, I like your style of editing.
Well, thank you. I've been doing it. I've been doing it for so long. It's just I gotten into like a rhythm. So at this point, it's like it still takes up time, but it's not like anything intensive. But yeah, it's just a one-man show. At this point, it's
it's good. It's interesting.
Yeah. I've gotten offers before for people to like, hey man, I can like edit your videos like better, and I've considered it because I mean that would give me more time, and like that's one less thing I have to do and everything. But I think I'm all right. It doesn't take that long.
Yep. Alrighty. Everything's up. Everything's running smoothly.
Okay.
We can get started on this. All right.
Sweet.
Hey guys, it's me, Pokesel. Today we are joined with Tekking101 once again, the legend.
Hello, thanks for having me on.
Yeah. We normally have the co-host Sin. He's gonna hop in a little later, but right now we just have Tekking. And yeah, we're gonna get straight into it because of time and all that. We're talking about the Water 7 Sagas chapters 303 all the way down to 441. So it's quite a lot to talk about.
So it's a stretch.
Yeah. There's some arcs that we're gonna kind of skip over, but we're gonna talk about a little bit. So let's just get into it. Long Ring, Long Land.
The Foxy arc, also known as.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, it's one of those things in One Piece I often forget it's there. And, you were talking about how sometimes people can, like, forget that it's canon, and I can see that because it's like, you got the G8 arc in the anime right before this, and that's all filler. And then you got Long Ring Long Land, which is canon, but it's also half filler because they include all this extra stuff. And then you get to Water 7, which is canon. So it's like, it's this weird mix in this stretch there where the anime might, you might think it's all filler.
100%. It was hard to get through. I had just gotten off the highs of Skypiea, the whole Enel moment. And I got to this arc.
Hey, Sin!
Yeah, we just started Long Ring Long Island, so this is perfect.
We just started like 2 minutes ago, so good timing.
That's all good. I'm not going to stay long because I got family stuff. I just sent you a message, Pokesel, so I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, that's fine, man.
But I
thought I'd be home in time. But are we live right now?
Yes.
We are live right now.
Cool. Hello, everyone. I am currently on the move right now on my phone, so I probably sound pretty crappy. But
actually,
okay.
You sound pretty good, honestly. Yeah.
Well, cool. I'm on my phone, so shout out to Team iPhone and Discord for the noise cancellation because it's windy outside. So, but hey man, we're talking about Foxy arc right now.
Yeah, we're talking about Water 7. I mean, no, Foxy.
Long Ring, Long Island. Yeah, we're doing that first. Yeah.
Too long, don't read version of Synsei's review. Me and Tekking just talked about these arcs. So, this is probably one of my least favorite arcs, but it's still a good arc nonetheless because all of the arcs in One Piece are good, regardless of some of them being worse than other ones. But it's fine. It's still good. Foxy, the whole Davy Back fight, hilarious to me. Afro Luffy's funny. Groggy brother.
Luffy is God. He's amazing. Yeah.
Brother with first like real time we get to see Zoro and Sanji team up together. They put their differences aside for a few seconds, and that was pretty awesome. And then of course you got the Aokiji introduction. So I mean, you know, that is like the saving grace of that entire arc is that Aokiji shows up at the very end of it.
Yeah. I think few chapters.
We're about to put this in D tier, but we ended up putting it at C just because Aokiji showed up.
I think that was the reason, because it's like, this has one of the most, it's like a boring arc, not a boring arc, but it's like an okay arc, and then it gets this big bombastic ending, and it's like, wow.
Yeah, I felt like very like, oh my gosh, it was like terrible, and then I think I was in voice chat. I was in voice chat with Yusin and a few others, and I was like, holy crap! As soon as he showed up, like, it went...
It's epic, bro. Because that's like we got a little taste of power with an L, but this is an entirely different level. Like, you can tell just from his portrayal, the way he shows up, the way he carries himself, he bodies like. And oh my god! And then he freezes the ocean for the guy to get back to his people. Like, that was so cool, man. Like,
you get the impression that like Eneru with his powers, he just went crazy with it because everyone like couldn't hold a candle to him. So he's like, I'm God, I'm super powerful. Aokiji's had this power for decades. He's refined it. He's like, and he's not egotistical. He's like, I have this crazy power. I could freeze you right here and kill you if I wanted to.
I could kill you if I wanted to. Let him live though, to pretty much pay that favor back to Robin.
Robin.
So that was at least shout out to Robin saving the straw hats there.
Thanks, Robin. Best girl.
Best girl for sure.
100%.
Also, I'm curious. What rating did you give this?
So at first it was gonna be like a 2.5 or 3 out of 10. Not gonna lie. But then when Akoji showed up, it bumped it up to a 5. So it's a 5 out of 10 for me.
I mean, like, this is the same thing I said on Sin's stream. It's like, look, like, I like the concept of there being pirate, like, games. Like, you know, there's 2 pirate crews that come together and they fight and compete and for each other's crew. And I'm like, that's a cool idea. It's just Foxy sucks. I just hate him. I find it very annoying.
100%.
It's hard, Tekking, too, to, like, I think we talked about this, like you said. It's hard to get like attached to the arc when the main antagonist for the arc is weak like that, you know?
Yeah, because it's just like if this wasn't this weird game and honor bound stuff, you know, Luffy would punch him once in the face and just end it, you know, like there you go.
100%. And I felt like it was very weird how Foxy did his thing.
Imagine Oda wrapped this whole small arc around just Aokiji. Antagonist for the arc.
I feel like what Oda was trying to go for was like there's other ways to fight other than just brute strength, and like Luffy is very easily manipulated by people like Foxy. Foxy sucked at manipulating people. He was very obvious, but Luffy still fell for it. So that was like a way to like show that. But I don't know. I feel like you could have done it with a better villain, or maybe that was the whole point for us to hate Foxy this whole time. In which case, there you go. You know,
conceded if that was the case.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess fair enough. I guess he wins. Yeah, there you go.
Question before I go, because I'm about to dip off. But final question for Tekking and Poxel. Would you guys like to see in Poxel? I know you aren't caught up, so you don't have the context. But would you guys like to see the Davy Back return, perhaps, in the story with like another?
I've heard theories that like Shanks and the Straw Hats would have a Davy Back, and I love that concept. Yeah.
I'm for that, because I know that on Pirate Island where Zebek's old base Blackbeard is, that's where the Davy Back originated.
That's where the Davy Back originated, and I made a video about this where I was like, you know what? Rocks probably started the Davy Back tradition, and it was probably a lot more brutal back in his day. That I would like to see explored.
Yeah, that would have been crazy. Because imagine if it's like a rated R Davy Back fight where instead of like you win one of the pirate crew members, you get to just kill them right there.
Or something like that. Like it's like you get to take them on your crew, or you get to kill them. You know, something like that. You know, like it's brutal.
I think it'd be interesting, like to see how they did that.
Yeah.
If it was against
Shane,
Shane.
guys, thank you so much for.
Oh yeah, anytime. Have a good time, Sin. You know, be with your family. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Sorry about that, Poke. So I'll make it up to you in the next one. I promise.
No, it's all good, fam.
I sent your money to you for this month for the editing too. By the way, I don't know if you see.
Yeah, I didn't get the email, but yeah, I'll take a look after.
All right, guys. For the rest
See you, Sin.
See ya, man. Have a good one. Alrighty, so
one more thing I want to say about Davy Back before we get on to Water 7, and I just remembered it. It was this kind of started the idea that the Straw Hats really did need a shipwright, because at the end of the Davy Back, they win, they beat Foxy, and they're like, oh, you can take a crewmate from Foxy, and they're like, would you like a shipwright? Because you really need one. And they didn't take one, but they're like, yeah, we still need a shipwright. Yeah.
Yeah, I think like it's a great kind of introduction to Water 7. Like it brings the story around to Water 7 with that whole ending.
Oh yeah.
And it does that well. But the arc as a whole, like just as a standalone arc, if it wasn't for that ending, it'd be garbage.
It would be, yeah. It would be one of the more forgotten arcs of the story. Yeah,
100%. Anyway, following that arc, we have the Go Water 7.
Water 7. Can I just say that I love the title of the fact that island is just called Water 7? That always sounded cool to me, even when I was a kid. Like when I was like a teenager when I started reading it. But I'm like, Water 7. That's a pretty cool name for an island.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. You're wrong, Axie. Afro Luffy is not best Luffy. Anyway, yeah, I definitely agree. I remember hearing like on Twitter all about the Water 7 arc. Like people were saying it was goated, it was great. I was like, okay, I guess I'll get in there. I'll watch it.
How far are you caught up in the One Piece story? Just so I know not to spoil anything.
I finished Post-Enies Lobby.
Oh, like so you're just up to this point. Okay.
Yeah, 20 minutes.
Oh, so you're just up to this point. All right, gotcha. You know, I'll try not to spoil anything in the future then.
All right. Sounds good. But yeah, Water 7 was amazing. I'll just say that. Like, I think what made it so good was because it had this one major theme, and it revolved mostly around the Going Merry.
Yes, it revolved around the Going Merry with Usopp and Luffy fighting, and the whole idea of getting a shipwright to begin with. That's the whole reason they went there. That's the whole reason that Usopp got attacked by the Frankie family. And it just balloons into something crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just want to say one thing from the chat, because this would be totally you. Tekking spoils the One Piece. You theorize and you tell me exactly what it is.
I would never do that. Like, if I had some sort of ability, if I had the power to look into the future right now, I don't even know if I would. But if I did, I wouldn't be that mean as to like, all right, guys, I saw the future. This is what it is.
It's the friends we made along the way.
It's a bag of sour Skittles. That's the One Piece. There you go.
No, it's Wapple.
Wapple is somehow Wapple is the One Piece this whole time.
Yeah.
But anyway.
But yeah.
How did you feel about the Luffy Usopp fight there? Because that kind of kicks off the arc in a big way.
So I'll say this. Sin kept on hyping up, saying like it's like the best fight in One Piece. And while it was a good fight, I can't agree with that.
I would definitely put it in the top 10, maybe even my top 5. It probably would be in my top 5.
It was a good fight. It was a good fight. I don't want to say it was like a bad fight. I loved it. I loved it even more after I watched the anime version of it. I just don't know that the anime version was just phenomenal as well, you know?
The animation was really good. I love the way Usopp is just he's Batman throughout the entire core. I did a video about this, and I was just calling like, Usopp is Batman throughout the whole run. That's what he is. You know, he has his little bag of tricks and his utility belt, and he planned everything out to the last second, and he got way further than anybody could have thought Usopp would have gotten against Luffy. Yeah. Of course, this is before Luffy had Gear 2nd and Gear 3rd, so that might have changed the battle around quite a bit. But in this one particular instance, it was pretty cool.
I'm happy with how we saw how the fight went overall. like how it went from start to finish, and how you see the Going Merry kind of start to cry. Like,
yeah, the water gets washed on it. That was the way it was animated was very well. I mean, he was in the manga too, but the animation just adds the whole other level.
Yeah.
I like the fact that like Oda kind of runs with this. It's not like Usopp and Luffy fight and Luffy wins and like Usopp just accepts it. No, it's like Usopp leaves the crew and he's gone for not just Water 7, but also Enies Lobby. I mean, he's there, but you know what I mean? Like, this is still going to come up. This is going to be an issue. He can't just join back with no big deal. Yeah.
Yeah. It was a good arc. And I think what it did best, though, was set up Enies Lobby, like bring it to there.
Because, I mean, yeah, that's the crazy thing. It's like Water 7 is an amazing arc in and of itself, but it really is just the building blocks for what comes next. Yeah.
Like, it felt like it was like how Jaya set up Skypiea, but 10 times more goated.
10 times more goated, longer, and introducing ideas of the government. Like, the government has this intelligence, like, you know, CIA task force.
Yeah,
crazy.
That was corrupt in a way. Like, I always love how One Piece covers how their government is like corrupt, and while it does provide protection, it's like a
it really it sets it up where like everybody, like, it's literally called the world government, so everybody in the world understands that they kind of control the world, but it sort of paints itself as like, oh no, you don't understand, we're a world government, but we rule by committee and everything is fair and just and balanced. And it's the exact opposite. Like, they send 100%. Out the cipher pulls are all over the world, making sure anybody is not talking bad about the government, and if anybody does talk bad about the government, the CPs are there to end them. You know?
Yeah, and I like it because this is how I felt about One Piece from chapter 1 almost, with how it set up its themes and core principles, with how it's like a battle between protection and freedom.
Yes,
and you see that
freedom is a huge theme in One Piece.
Yeah, you see that battle between those two things, where the world government represents this protection with a lack of freedom. Like, you're not allowed to talk bad about the world government.
I mean, it's the whole concept. Yeah, it's the whole concept of piracy. That's like how piracy, I mean, that's how I would assume it began, where the world government ruled everything. And it's like, okay, we don't want to be ruled. And so that's how piracy sort of starts. And of course, the world government's going to, now, obviously there's pirates in One Piece that are like murder and burn houses down and stuff, and they're really cruel. But the idea, the underlying message of One Piece with like 100%. Straw Hat Pirates is they seek freedom. That's their goal. Yeah.
And I think it's good that it shows that. It shows that not both sides are evil. It's not just trying to paint a whole theme that the government is evil and they're corrupt and they're trash.
No, there's plenty of pirates that are evil as well, and there's plenty of Marines that do, like, Smoker isn't evil. So it's just like, it's that duality of like the world is not as simple, you know, as a clear cut. 100%.
Yeah. But I love how what's his name? The guy that's Frankie's brother.
Well, he doesn't have a brother. Iceberg is there you go. Yeah. He calls all of his family members like his bros. So like there's like Zombie and everybody that are like members of the Frankie family, but Iceberg is who he trained with Tom with. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's what I meant. So with Iceberg, I liked Iceberg. He was really cool with how he did things, but I love how he carried those themes. Like, he was like, I don't want anybody to have this map to this weapon, because it can be misused.
I'm so happy they brought that up, because it was brought up at Alabasta, like, you know, Crocodile wanted the Pluton, and then it wasn't really addressed after that. And I'm like, well, no, duh, the world government would want their hands on this thing. Like, of course they would. So they sent like a secret intelligence operation. Yeah, that's great, you know, so it makes sense.
Overall, when it comes to Water 7, I would say it's a solid like 9.5.
I mean, if I was going to put it as a rank, I'd probably put it at around 9, 8.5, 9. I mean, it doesn't really get much better than that. I mean, I love Impel Down more because that's my favorite arc. But I would say if I had to pick between Water 7 and Enies Lobby would win out for me. So like Water 7, like 8.5, Enies Lobby would be like in the 9s. But
Water 7, like, the thing about it is, it's like you said, it's a good arc, and it's honestly just a setup arc. Like, it's bringing this mystery with Robin, you know, and what's going on with the Robin and stuff. And it's just setting up the battles for the following arc, you know, with these new characters.
I really also appreciate, I mean, at the time, I wasn't reading it at the time, but it must have been crazy to like read like, okay, there's this stuff with Robin going on, and then Usopp defects, and so there's stuff with that, and then there's stuff with Frankie, and then there's stuff with the CP9, and I'm like, man, there's a lot of stuff to juggle here, but Oda ties it all up in one way, and it doesn't seem contrived or forced or anything, you know?
Yeah, I 100% agree with you on that one. But yeah, overall, it's a solid arc. Loved almost every moment of it. There was like 4 or 5 chapters where I got a little bored with it. Like, you know,
where at?
I'm trying to remember. It was between the whole thing with Usopp versus Luffy, like after that part, but before all the chaos was going on.
Because that's the moment where like Iceberg was assassinated and the Straw Hats were kind of like, you know, fugitives for a little while, and they were kind of running around. Yeah, I could see. Yeah.
But like the thing is when it comes to me a manga, the manga succeeds if I don't check how many pages I have left. If I check how many pages I have left, like of a chapter, that means like
yeah. I don't really, I never really do that, but it's like I understand where you're coming from. Like I'll be reading a manga, and if it's like 2-3 chapters, I'm kind of losing my invested interest. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna put this down, and I might pick it back up, or I might not. You know how it goes.
Yeah. Or like, because I'll be just randomly scrolling through a chapter, and I'll see, okay, because I'm using the Viz Media app. I'll click on my screen, and I'll see, okay, 9 of 20. I've only read 9 pages, and I'm kind of bored
like
of this
me
chapter.
when I was like binging all of Chainsaw Man in a single night. It's just like it kept my attention the whole time. I gotta give it that much, you know.
Yeah, Chainsaw Man's goated.
It is coming back. It's coming back this summer, I think. Yeah.
Part 2, and then the anime's coming out later this year.
Sweet. Oh, that's gonna be so much fun.
Yeah. Are you planning on making any Chainsaw Man videos?
Yeah, I should. I did that one on the top 6 devils. I need to make another one because it is a really good series. But I'll probably wait until it comes back or the anime is released, or I'll wait until something big happens with the series and I'll talk about it again.
Yeah, well, that should be exciting. But Water 7, goated arc. Probably top 3 arcs so far in what I've been reading. And when it comes to One Piece.
How did you feel about the introduction of Frankie? Because he's my favorite Straw Hat. Fun fact. Yeah.
So, I don't know if you'll. I liked some stuff with him.
It's okay if you don't. It's okay if you don't like him as much as I do. That's fine.
Yeah, he's like. I think he's probably like my 6th favorite Straw Hat.
That's fine.
But I love all the Straw Hats.
He actually ranks kind of low when they are like ranking all the Straw Hats. In the last poll, I think he might have actually been the least popular Straw Hat. He might have been. Yeah. So I don't know, but I love Frankie, man. I love his design. I love the hair. I love his poses. I love his enthusiasm. It's great. And he's a robot that runs on Pepsi. I just love that concept, you know.
I love his abilities. They're
so cool. Yeah.
But yeah. It's all good, Ahmed Bros. Edens can handle it. Yeah, Water, you're probably right. Just remembered seeing it was it's the 7th island. Oh, that's interesting. So that's the 7th island they're on in
Well,
Grand
that's interesting.
Line.
Well, the reason it was named Water 7 was because of the 7 docks on the island, the shipwriting yards.
Yeah.
But it probably is the 7th island too, because yeah,
that's actually a cool similar thing that Oda probably did.
Actually, I think it might be the 8th actually, if you include Skypiea in that. If you don't, it would be the 7th. Anyway.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Okay. Doesn't matter. Yeah.
Anyway, following Water 7, we have this mystery with Robin. You know, she's like coming with this guy. She helps assassinate somebody, and she looks at the Straw Hats and she basically tells them, "Screw you. I'm on my own. I'm out of your group. It was fun with you and all that." But then they find out that she did that because she didn't want to see them die. She didn't want them to be caught.
Because her logic is they had a run in with Aokiji already, and her logic is, okay, if I just, if I tell them to follow me, they're going to get slaughtered by the world government. Like, there's no way they can beat them, so I'm just going to leave,
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. I was shocked, like, when I saw her kind of, like, backstab the Straw Hats at first.
Oh, no, yeah, it was a very intense moment. It was way more intense than, like, what happened with Nami before. It's like, this was, like, you don't know where this is going to go. Because Robin joined recently, and we knew she was an assassin and a spy and all that for Alabasta, for Baroque Works. So it's like, we don't know where her plot thread is going at this point.
100%. And it was just, for me, such a... what's the word for it? Just such a interesting thing as it like developed, because like that was what was in my head. It was Usopp and Robin. Like, where's Robin going and what's going on with Usopp? You know, like that's where my brain is. And then the story continues, and we go to Enies Lobby. And the way Water 7 sets up Enies Lobby was fantastic.
And even like the little mini arc we had in between where they were on the train and they were just like Sanji's fighting through the train and then Frankie fights Nero. I mean, that was a pretty cool scene too.
100% agree. But yeah, moving after Water 7, we get to Enies Lobby. And this is the moment I want to bring up. Oh,
go ahead.
You go first.
I was just going to ask, who was your favorite member of CP9?
It has to be. It's hard to remember their name. There's so many One Piece characters.
If you just tell me, their general appearance, I could tell you. Yeah.
It's the one Luffy ends up fighting at the end.
Rob Lucci.
Yeah, Rob Lucci.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. I would say probably I like Kaku a little more, but the giraffe dude that fought Zoro, I loved his appearance when he turned into a giraffe and the way he fought. He was a pretty cool guy. Lucci is just like a bloodthirsty killer. I mean, he's literally a cheetah, not a cheetah, leopard, something, jaguar. Yeah. He's some kind of big cat.
100%. I think he's cool. I respect the giraffe decision. I mean, giraffe, that was a cool fight. I love it when Zoro just grabs Usopp and turns Usopp into his sword.
Oh my god, that's beautiful. Where it's like you're chained together, and it's like, okay, well, I know one way we could fight, and just you become a sword. There you go, done.
Yeah, just the way, and I'll just get my rating out for the people in the chat and for you. I would give Enies Lobby a 10 out of 10.
I would give it a 10 out of 10 too, maybe 9.5. Because like I said, if you're going like 10 out of 10, like my absolute favorite arc, that'd be Impel Down. But I would still say Enies Lobby's pretty damn close. I mean, it's Enies Lobby.
I'm ranking it out of like every arc in general, if that makes sense. Like, so I have multiple 10 out of 10s.
Yeah. Well, everyone that you've seen so far. Oh, some crazy stuff happens.
I'm pumped. I can't wait for the nothing happens moment.
I can't believe, it would be crazy to be in your position of not still reading the story all the way through, because it's just like, where does it go from here? Oh my god, now where does it go from here? It's just like it keeps getting intense. It even if you think it can't go any higher than this, it does.
100%. I was in Water 7, like, after, like, certain bits and pieces of it. I was like, it can't get any crazier. Oh, yeah, one moment I want to mention Water 7. I know I'm going back to it, but...
No, it's fine.
There's a moment when Usopp gets destroyed for the first time by the
Frankie family, and then the Straw Hats just wreck the...
Yeah. Then you see, like, this one cool panel where, like, it's just like the walk to Arlong Park. Yeah. They just all stand up, and it's so well drawn. They did such a good job with that.
It's the same thing, because Nami was like down and she was like, I need you guys to help me. And then they walk to Arlong Park and they freaking decimate it. Same thing here. Usopp's knocked down. It makes sense that Oda would do it the same way. They walk in and they bring down the house. Yeah.
Yes, 100% agree. It was really crazy. And I'm going to be honest, I got to Usopp versus Luffy. Well, no. I got to Water 7. So I finished the Foxy pirate arc, the Long Ring Long Island. Finished that. Waited a week and a half to read One Piece. Started Water 7. And 10 hours later, I didn't read it straight for those 10 hours, but I think it was like 3 or 4 hours later. I was in a group chat, and I was like, oh yeah, I just got to the I Want to Live moment. Yeah.
Yeah, see, I've heard people I've heard people that say like, oh, I've read the entirety of One Piece in like a few days, and I'm like, how? Like, how do you manage that? It's insanely long. I don't have an attention span for that long. I get tired and have to take a break after a certain point.
I usually don't, but I just got so into it that I couldn't stop reading. I couldn't put my phone down. It was crazy. Hey Kakarot. But yeah, it was just amazing. And then now in Enies Lobby, we get all these goated fights. I'm going to go to one of the earlier moments in Enies Lobby. Basically, I love how the Straw Hats just go straight in there, and they just start
Luffy
fighting
just jumps off the train, and he just starts storming the island by himself.
Yeah, they're like, plan set, here's the plan, let's do this. And Luffy's like, okay, I got you. And then he just jumps off. Like
he just jumps off and starts charging. The guards at the gate are like, "Whoa, kid, do you know where you are right now?" And Luffy just starts like knocking them all out. Like,
and then the whole time the main CP9 guy, the guy in charge, thought only 5 guys got taken out during like the whole fight. He was like taunting Robin, and then here comes Luffy and the rest. Robin's on the top of the tower, and then we get Robin's goated backstory, probably the best backstory in One Piece in my opinion so far.
So far, yeah. I would argue that might be my favorite period because it is a very tragic backstory. Yes.
Yeah, it was such a good backstory, and it hit really hard.
It did because you had Saul in there and Aokiji. That's where that connects back. And her mother, she like didn't know her mother, and then met her for like 1 minute, and then she dies, and it's just like, oh my god.
Yeah. And then like she's just this lonely girl. Everybody calls her a monster because of her devil fruit. Like
and she has to like survive in the world for like 20 years by herself. And it's terrifying. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Some dust entered my eye when I was reading that backstory.
Oh.
it hit like a truck, and then it just carries on to the whole moment where she's still trying to deny herself, trying to deny like their help, and trying to tell him to go back, and he's just like, be quiet, say you want to live, I don't care if you want to die right now, come with us, and then if you still want to die, you can die. And then the guy's
it's like Robin was like kind of conditioned over the years to not like be allowed to have things that she wanted because she was literally being chased wherever she went. So it's like this one moment where she has an epiphany, like, I'm allowed to live. I'm allowed to have this. Okay, I want to live. And then, oh my god! And then the Straw Hats are like, all right, well, we're gonna come and save you. Then there you go.
100%, 100%. It was, it hit really good. Yeah.
I mean, each fight was really good. Like, I mean, the idea of them like in the tower and getting the keys. I mean, it's a little bit standard for like a video game or something. Like, defeat all these people and get the keys and then save your friend. But I think here it works, and you get to see all of like the Straw Hats' upgraded attacks and all that stuff.
I will say this: I was not a fan of Gear 2 at first. It felt like
Gear Second. Yeah. I mean, I love it, but it's just like, it's like it turns him pink and it makes him zip around really fast.
But like what it felt like is it just felt like it came out of nowhere almost. Like,
okay, so I will say, Oda really did not establish how Luffy learned those techniques. Like, that was something that did kind of come out of left field. Like, he kind of says like, okay, I saw you guys using Soru, the high speed kick thing. And so that's how I figured out how Gear Second works. But we never saw Luffy train with it. We never saw him really, like, when did he name it? When did he come up with these attack names? Did he just come up with all this stuff on the fly? And then Gear Third kind of comes out of nowhere. That's
why I call it kind of like a Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah, like I said, he based it on Gear Second. But, I mean, he based it on the Soru, but it's just like, I have this now. He acted like he was working on this for a while when he used it against Blue and O, and then it's just like, when?
Oh yeah. Just to clarify, because somebody said you didn't like Gear Second or how it came about. I liked Gear Second and how like it looked and stuff and what it did for him in the fight. I just didn't like how it came about.
And then Gear Third, I don't understand how the hell Luffy just. I mean, I could understand Luffy's just hanging out and just blew into his bones one day and figured out that he could make his bones. But how did you like arrive at that conclusion? I don't know, but okay. And
I understand how it does it. At first, when I was reading it, I was so confused, but then Sin explained it to me in a voice call.
Yeah, when Rob Lucci's fighting Luffy, he explains it too. Like, he's basically increasing the blood pressure, and his heart is rubber, so it won't explode, and so he can keep it up and like doping himself. Yeah.
And it makes sense. I'm sorry. I just would have liked if we had just like maybe a few panels showing that he was training with it back in.
That would have been cool to see something. Yeah, like after his fight with Usopp, and after he first fought against the CP9 at Water 7, he's like, "Oh, I have an idea," and then messes with it a bit.
Yeah. Because we see that how in Arlong Park, he's like, we see him starting to come up with ideas for his attacks and training with them before he uses them.
Even like during Alabasta, he uses a Wapple technique and tries to eat crocodile. I was like, all right, he's trying to think outside the box there. Okay.
Yeah, 100%. But
so what was your favorite fight?
in Enies Lobby, my favorite fight was the one with Nami versus the Bubble Bubble
Khalifa
thing.
and Nami, that was
Yeah,
cool. Yeah,
it,
Khalifa's
it
awesome.
was so cool seeing Nami fight because she had to use strategy to make up her difference in strength.
It was. I mean, she had a one-on-one fight against Miss Doublefinger at Alabasta. So this isn't the first time this happened, but it's like
Yeah,
new climb attack, one-on-one. Nobody's coming to help her. Let's see how she
100%.
fights. Yeah,
And also, this is the same person that took out Sanji and stuff, and
yeah.
so we knew she was strong, even though Sanji, he lost
Well,
because
we learned
his
about
tactics.
Sanji's chivalry here. The whole like
Yeah.
he can't kick a woman, like that's a pretty big like part of his character. And so
Hmm.
Inami kind of respects that and goes to fight Khalifa. We got to see Chopper go into Monster Point for the first time. That
Yeah,
was insane.
I
Yeah.
loved that moment, but again, similar to the whole Gear 2, while I loved the moment, I loved looking at it, I don't love how it came about. Like, I don't know, it felt like it came out of
So,
nowhere again.
yeah, well, I mean, it did come out of nowhere, but
Yeah.
that one had a little bit more because if this wasn't like a technique Chopper just came up with, because
Uh-huh.
we have a little flashback with Kureha at Drum, and Chopper actually did this before by accident,
Yeah.
and he kind of learned he wrecked a whole village, and then Kureha kind of told him like, if you take 3 Rumble Balls, you'll go into this form. You got to make sure not to use that if you can't control it. And Chopper was about to die anyway, so he's like, "All right, I guess I'll do this because it's
Yeah.
all I have left." So that I'm more okay with. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay with it because like we see what one does to him no earlier, so like you can make the connection with your brain, be like, okay, if
Yeah.
he takes more than this, like
Although
what
I
could
think
happen?
there was a scene in the Long Ring Longland arc because it was filler and they didn't establish this. Yes, I think there was a scene where he downs like a bunch of Rumble Balls at once in the filler and nothing happens because they don't know. So that was funny. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, overall it was solid. It was good. Ennis Lobby, like I said, 10 out of 10 arc for me. What was your favorite fight in Ennis Lobby?
So I like Kaku's fight with Zoro. I also really probably my favorite, like if I had to pick one scene from Enies Lobby, I mean, there's so many good ones, like the I Want to
Hmm.
Live. That would probably be number one because I'm a huge
Same.
fan of Robin. And Robin slapping the hell out of Spondum near the end of the arc. That was really cathartic too. But I love the scene with Sanji and Jabra, the wolf dude,
Mm,
because he goes into Diabo Jambe like that's his power up, where Zoro gets Ashra and Sanji just spins around really fast and lights his damn leg on fire.
yeah.
And I'm like, okay, yeah, he's a cook. It makes sense he would have a technique to control fire and heat. So, and then he just kicks the crap out of Jabber in the anime. It's such a badass scene.
Yeah, 100%. For me, the best scene is definitely the I Want to Live moment. Robin's my favorite Straw Hat right now, by
Well, there
far.
you go. You're
Yeah.
good with that then. You're all right. You're all right,
Yeah.
Foxel. You're all right. Yeah.
I was just blown away, man. Like I was just reading it. Her backstory just again, like I said, hit like a truck earlier.
It's tragic, man. And they
Yeah.
Oda builds them up. Like Zoro's backstory is like, okay, Kuina died. Usopp's
Mhm.
backstory is his dad left and his mom died. But then we
Yeah.
get to Robin's, which is like, not only are her parents not around and her mom eventually dies, but her one friend that she always had that she like just made dies, and the whole
Yeah.
island gets burned down, and like oh
Yeah.
god, and then
She's
forced to be
alone.
then she's forced to be a fugitive at the age of 8. Like holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I couldn't imagine, and like especially from her perspective, she's like, "Wait, what? These people did nothing wrong. Why are they being killed? They're just trying to research this
Yep.
land. These are
Yep.
the only people that ever took care of me because my parents weren't around and all that." And like everything collides on her. I love her character as the story like progresses to that point, and she just becomes my favorite Straw Hat by far so far.
Mm.
I'll just quickly drop my rankings of the Straw Hats right now because I do them in all the reviews.
Yeah, go ahead.
So number 1 is definitely Robin. Number
Woo.
2 is Zoro, tied with Sanji, so they're kind of tied at the moment. Number 3 is Luffy. Number 4 is Usopp. No, Nami. Number 5 is Usopp. Number 6 is Frankie, and number 7 is Chopper. Probably.
I see. I have a hard time ranking them. I've tried to sit down before and try to rank them out. It's really hard.
Hmm.
Like the best way I can describe it is like if I was going to rank the Straw Hats like zero, like from 0 to 100%. 0 meaning I absolutely hate the character, and 100% meaning I absolutely love the character. all the Straw Hats would be in like the 90s. I have a hard time putting anyone like, you know, like because even the one I like the least, it would probably, I guess, maybe be Chopper, but even then I like Chopper a lot, so it's hard to,
Yeah, for me, I'd probably I view these Straw Hats a lot like how I view like how much I love the captains of the Gotai 13. Like for me, it's so hard to rank the two because
it would be hard.
like,
That would be hard for me to do.
They're amazing. Like of course, there's some that are easier to say like are the bottom tier, but then there's others that are easier to say the top tier. But like most of them are in that middle range that you just love them so much.
It would be something if I ranked them. It would be this weird thing where it's like there'd be like a 3-way tie with with a certain spot. It would be crazy.
It's too difficult, I feel like, too. That's why for me Zoro and Sanji are tied because I can't pick one between the two.
But I'll tell you what, that makes Oda a great writer because I think, because I have such a hard time ranking them, it's not like, oh, this Straw Hat's obviously my favorite and this one's crap. It's like I don't feel that about any of them. So
the world government actions in the flashback. Eden's, are you referring to Water 7, that flashback with Frankie?
There's the flashback with Frankie with the CP5, and then there's the flashback at Ohara with CP9 when they burn the island down.
So I like both of those. Like I like both of those moments because it again, like we covered earlier in the stream, it shows how corrupt the world government is. It does a great job at that.
How'd you feel about so there was a moment, and it's going to be relevant. It's the moment where Clover was talking about that kingdom, and it's like he's about to speak the name of the kingdom, and then the government shoots him.
So
that's from Robin's backstory.
Yeah, my guess is that has a lot to do with like ancient history.
We still don't know to this day. Like,
wait, are you serious?
We still don't know. Like, it's something that was like just mentioned, but we just
Has it been like mentioned again, or like no?
No, not really.
Okay.
Like it's I don't want to spoil anything. I could make theories and conjecture, but it's one of those things that's like, okay, what was up with that kingdom?
I really do want to know because of how they
keep on reading and then get caught up, and then maybe someday in like 3 or 4 years we'll find out together. There you go.
8 years from now.
Yup.
Maybe in 7 piece we'll find out.
7 piece, yeah. But I love it. I love the arc a lot, and I'd probably rank it like a 9.5, if not a 10. Yeah.
Fahad, haven't really met him yet, so be careful in the chat. But yeah, I totally agree. What did you think of what was it? Oh yeah, I was again confused. What's the whole Astra thing?
That. Okay, so to just give it to you in Enies Lobby without spoiling anything, Zoro can project his aura to basically make 9 swords. It's a very intensive technique. It takes a lot out of him. It's not something he can use very often, but it is regarded as like Zoro's like ultimate mode right now in this story.
So just because I kind of may have or may not have read 1010, is this like Conqueror's Haki?
It's I don't want to answer that because there's there's kind of some really deep spoilers, like some recent stuff in the manga involving Ashura, and I don't want to spoil yet for that.
Yeah,
that's like you're on chapter like 400, and we're talking like chapter 1010 stuff here. So
I saw. I may or may have not read 1010 out of context.
That's all right. I mean, like, that's it's like Game of Thrones. It's like when I started watching Game of Thrones, it was already on season 4, and I already knew about stuff that was going to happen like years in advance. So trying to read One Piece is probably, you pretty much have to stay off the internet altogether if you don't want to be spoiled, because at some point you're gonna, somebody's gonna spoil something.
I don't know what Haki is as a whole. I have some ideas of what it is just from what I've heard because I'm in a lot of Sims streams. But
there's a scene after Enies Lobby, shortly after Post-Enies Lobby, that kind of addresses it. So you'll get to see something there, but I don't want to go into more detail than that. Yeah.
Understandable. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, great arc. I loved Frankie's backstory. That was really impactful.
That was a good one, yeah. That was an example of, like, we don't know what happened to Tom. Tom didn't die, he was just taken away by the sea train, which is symbolic because they built the sea train, now Tom's being taken away on it. That's how
Mhm.
Frankie got injured. I love Frankie's backstory. He gets hit by a train and then rebuilds himself into a cyborg as if any of that makes any sense.
Yeah,
But I love it,
it's goaded, and
It's great, it's great.
I
Yeah.
love once again how it shows the government off as they aren't good. They're kind of bad in a lot of ways.
Oh, yeah.
Setting up this innocent man because he refuses to give up a weapon. Like,
Mhm. Mhm.
so yeah,
They do not care.
100%. Goated arc. I'm trying to think of other moments. I liked all the fights. All the fights with the Straw Hats were great.
The fights were great. How'd you feel about the Buster calls? So, like, the big marine battleships coming to just blow up the Enies Lobby, yeah.
I loved it, but it also felt like Oda was kind of doing what he did in Alabasta. Again.
Maybe a little bit. Yeah, I mean, the Buster call is a whole new concept because that's what happened at O'Hara, and that, like, ties back to Robin's backstory. But it's not just like the Marines chasing after. It's literally we decimate an island and burn it down into cinders. Like, that's what the Buster call is, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm trying to think.
Yeah, there's a few other moments like Zoro loses a sword in this arc. Yeah, he loses the Yubashiri. It gets rusted away by one of those Marine captains' shoe.
And then they also the ending of the arc is great.
Where the Mary shows up. Yeah.
And then the Going Mary gets burned up. That was impactful, man. Briggs.
That's pretty much that's how the Enies Lobby arc finishes going into the post arc, with the death of the Mary. And that's like, man, I'll tell you what, I mean, I don't get super emotional, but I got pretty weepy when I first watched that in the anime. Have you seen it in the anime yet?
I have not. I should probably go back.
You should, because they play a song in the background. It's "Dear Friends" by Triplane, and it's one of the One Piece endings actually, and it's such an emotional song, and you'll get weepy because the animation in that episode is they pull out all the stops for that.
Yeah, I'll have to. I'm hyped to see it, and I remember this moment in particular because back when I did an anime Jeopardy, I had Briggs come onto my channel, and
yeah, he's a cool dude.
Yeah, and Jordan and JoJo Talks Too Much, and we were all discussing. We were doing an anime Jeopardy, and one of the questions was who was the fourth Straw Hat to join the crew. I think it was fourth. Which the trick question is third. My bad. Who was the third Straw Hat to join the crew? And the trick question is a lot of people would say it's Nami.
Yeah,
but Nami doesn't really join the crew.
Yeah, here's the thing. Like, the Straw Hats all have numbers that correspond to them, and Nami's is the third, but she doesn't properly join until the end of Arlong Park. Yeah. But, she's still considered the third by, like, a lot of people.
Yeah, the question was a trick question overall. Yeah. But, it was good. I liked it. I'm trying to think of other moments. What did you think of... How did you like Garp? Somebody asked. I'm trying to remember who Garp is.
Yeah, so Garp shows up during Water 7 of the Post-Enies Lobby, or like second Water 7.
Oh!
It's Luffy's grandfather. Yeah.
He's
So some stuff about him. He showed up in a cover story way back at the beginning of the story.
I watched the anime up to Alabasta, so I saw him training with Kobe.
Helmeppo and Kobe, yeah. And he's a lot more there's a Romance Dawn, like before Oda did One Piece, he had 2 kind of pilot chapters, and his grandfather appears in those, and so he's more relevant there, and that's where Garp comes from. But yeah, Garp is a vice admiral, he's a Marine, and he's a pretty big badass. Yeah.
That was an insane reveal. We also get introduced to Dragon as the father, and then we get told about how the 7 warlords were formed for one purpose, and that purpose wasn't to be with the Marines, but was to work with the Marines to defeat the 4 pirates.
Yes, the Yonko. Keep that name noted. They will be very, very relevant.
Wait, that's interesting now, because I know people talk about how I thought people said there was only 3 Yonko. So now I'm confused.
Yonko literally means 4 emperors in Japanese.
Yeah, I know, but I remember somebody was saying the 3 Yonko or something.
No. Yeah, that's
spoilers.
You'll understand where that comes from later, but yeah, for right now, it's because post-Enies Lobby, we find out a lot of stuff. We find out, okay, there's the great powers, and you got the Yonko, which are 4 great powers from the New World. We find out the New World's a thing. And then the warlords and the government and the Marines all work together to fight the Yonko. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's pretty much Post-Enies Lobby is just you get off all this hype so that you're wanting to keep reading, and then Oda just gives you a big
Oda does this
drop.
a lot. It's like Oda just gave us like a huge arc, and now we have like a big exposition arc explaining like, okay, what's the next phase of this story?
Yeah. And I'm gonna relate this to Bleach just because that's like my big show right now. It's always been.
That's a good one.
It feels like the info drops that Aizen kind of gave after Society when he was.
I mean, it's a common practice in a lot of manga. Like at the end of a big arc, you have a big lore dump on the world and stuff. Oda does it in between arcs a lot. But post arc we find out a lot of stuff. We find out there's Kobe and Helmeppo, and they've trained and they're back, and that's cool.
And they look tough. Like, I'm sure Luffy took them out, but like they look like at least they can pose a fight. And I'm sure Kobe's gonna be a major character in the Marines later on in the story.
His goal is like Luffy to become. Well, Luffy wants to become king of the pirates. Kobe wants to become an admiral. So he wants to. Now you know what an admiral does. He wants to be on the level of like Aokiji. So it's a big climb for him to get there. But that's his
100%.
goal. Yeah.
Oh wait, so Garp is only a vice admiral. Right?
Yes, he is, but you'll find out why later. Don't think of that as like an expression of his strength.
Okay.
Yeah, don't think of it just because he's a vice admiral. He's like he's like that level because, I mean, this isn't a big spoiler. He could have been promoted. He chooses not to.
So
and you'll find out the reason why later.
Oh, yeah. So he's a lot like Smoker. He chooses not to be promoted.
No, he doesn't. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's not that big of a spoiler, but the reason why comes up later, and I won't reveal that. Yeah.
Alrighty. Yeah, I know that the Yonko are. I already know their names. Shanks, Big Mom, Kaido, and Whitebeard.
Well, I think Garp even mentions all their names in this arc, in the Post-Enies Lobby arc. He name drops all of them. No, actually, he doesn't. He doesn't know because we don't find out one of them until later. Keep it like for right now. Don't worry too much about the Yonko, but later on in the story, they will become extremely relevant. Yeah,
especially I know Wano because Wano's main villain.
Oh yeah. Well, at this point, we're literally Oda has called it the 4 versus the 4 Emperors saga. Like that's the official name for the saga we're in. We've been in for like the last like 6 years.
It's the 4 Emperors
in the manga. Yeah.
Oh, I want. Okay, now I'm interested because now I want to know how Whole Cake Island
reading, man. You'll get there soon, but you're in for a ride. Let me tell you.
100%. Yeah. It's an insane journey. I think One Piece is like a story that's never going to be told again. And it's great. If the chat has any questions that you guys want to ask, feel free to drop them. If you have any questions, Tekking, feel free to ask.
Pretty good. Thanks for having me on. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a crap load of fun. If you guys,
a crap load of fun. Yep.
Yeah, if you guys haven't checked out Tekking's channel, most of you probably have. He posts One Piece content.
You type in Tekking, you'll probably find me. I'm around.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, thanks again for coming out. It's always fun to make a video and stream with you, Tekking.
Oh, anytime.
Yeah. I'm gonna give the chat like 2 or 3 minutes to ask questions.
Yeah, go ahead. Anything and pop up. Yeah.
But yeah.
Next is Thriller. So you do this weekly then, or is it like every other week? Or
I do it as I finish the arcs. So it could
that's
be
a pretty good schedule. Yeah,
months. It could be weeks. It just depends on how quickly. Because I'm also doing the same thing with Berserk right now.
Dude, that is like how I do my stuff pretty much. It's like I get a lot of recommendations. Berserk is one of them. I get told a lot to read Berserk, and it's just like I've read the first 2 volumes. And it's like, I'll get to it at some point. It's just, how it goes. Yeah. Like Chainsaw Man. Like, people were telling me for years, read Chainsaw Man. And it was one night, it was back in October, it was around Halloween, and I'm thinking, well, I want something new to read tonight, and I just binged the entire story.
Yeah.
And I was kind of traumatized. I didn't sleep that well that night, but, I mean, yeah.
No, I was the same way with Chainsaw Man. It took me 2 days to read it. The first day I just read the first 30 or 40 chapters. Then the second day I read it. Not gonna say the twist because most of the people in the chat have only read One Piece, but the twist with a certain character and the devils, you know who I'm referring to?
Oh yeah, I know. I'm rereading it now because I was in Barnes and Noble a couple days ago and they have the manga in Viz released them now, and I'm like, oh cool. So now I get to like reread the whole thing again.
Yeah.
Because I was kind of binging it, and now I can kind of like read it in the volume format. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah.
There's so much foreshadowing.
Oh god, yeah. From like day one.
Yeah, Fujimoto is really insane.
It's one of those stories that rereading it a second time, I've noticed a lot more stuff. Yeah. Oh yeah, at the end of Post-Enies Lobby, we get the reveal that all the Straw Hats have bounties at the end of this arc.
Yeah, I forgot the exact count. Let me go check real quick.
I got it right here. I can tell you right now.
Okay.
So Luffy's 300 million, Zoro's 120 million, Sanji's 77, Nami's 16, Usopp as Saga King is 30, which I love because 30 million was Luffy's original bounty, and now that's great. Chopper's is 50, just 50 berries.
Wait. Oh yeah.
Because they think he's a pet. They think he's a harmless pet that can't do anything. But even then, 50 is... You have to understand, berries is supposed to be like Japanese yen. And I did the calculation of this. You're from the United States, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So 50 berries is equivalent to like 35 cents. It's like so ridiculously insulting to Chopper. He's not even walk into a store, any store with 35 cents and try to walk out with a piece of merchandise. You're not going to be able to.
No, bounty hunters are going to come after the Straw Hats just for Chopper.
Oh god, yeah. And then Robin's I feel was kind of like her old bounty when she was a little kid, when she was 8, was 79 million, and they only increased it by 1 to 80 million. And I'm thinking, I think her bounty should be higher to begin with, considering all the stuff she knows and how dangerous she is. But anyway, hers is 80, and then Frankie, who joins, is 44. So, yeah.
Straight off the gate, Zoro's being Sanji.
Yep, straight out of the gate, yep.
Yeah. No, it's cool. I did read that part. I'm just like, I don't remember exact numbers.
I just have this stupid memory when it comes to One Piece, so any piece of information that's in the story, I can remember it pretty much.
Yeah. Are you excited to learn more about Roger after the Frankie flashback and how Tom and Kuroko talked about him? So I am, but what I'm more excited about is I want more Smoker for some reason.
Yeah, Smoker's cool. There will be some more Smoker coming up here in a few arcs. You have to wait a bit. But yeah, I like Smoker. I feel like he is kind of underutilized in the story, but he has a pretty cool idea. There's a whole thing with him later on.
I would love to see him, like how his character developing more, because we see him in Alabasta start to doubt the world government even more.
Oh yeah, in a big way.
That's incredible.
In a few arcs, there'll be a moment with Smoker, and then after the time skip, there's an arc that focuses as Smoker as a main character of the arc. So you'll enjoy it when you get to that point. Yeah.
And then what arc do I get introduced to Law?
Sabaody Archipelago. It's after Thriller Bark actually, so you're almost there.
Okay, because I'm hyped to see it.
Yeah, Law is so cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the anime has some extra stuff on Smoker. Okay, part 1 is in the manga. Yeah. Chainsaw Man part 1's finished. Are you excited to learn? Okay, yeah. I am excited to learn, Roger. Sanji's bounty is drawn.
Yes, so they tried to take a picture of all the Straw Hats, and with Sanji's, the guy left the lens cap on. So they didn't know what he looked like, so they just drew a very crude drawing of him. That's actually going to be something interesting later on, but I don't want to spoil that too. But Sanji's really pissed off because Zoro has a higher bounty, and his drawing looks horrible. So, yeah.
So no Dragon reveals Shanks' wife. Okay, yeah. Sorry.
So Dragon shows up. He's the head of the revolutionaries. He's Luffy's dad. And that's pretty much all we find out at this point. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't see any question.
Well, it's
okay. Well, did you get spoiled on Kobe coming back? Yeah, everybody posts about Kobe. I think you were asked about Ace and Blackbeard.
Ace and Blackbeard. Did you see that scene? Is that part? Because that's kind of part of the Post-Enies Lobby, but it's at the very end, at the beginning of Thriller Bark. Did you see that yet?
I have not.
Okay, so that'll be like the first thing you see, because like there's Post-Enies Lobby, and then you get a few other scenes before we get to Thriller Bark with the Straw Hats. So that'll be one of the moments you see. And then there's another moment that includes hockey, so you'll learn about that too.
Yeah, okay, I'll have to take a peek for sure. Have you seen the Morge Smoker
No,
Theory?
I haven't actually. Yeah, the Morge Smoker Theory. I've seen a few of Morge's videos. He makes some really good shit. I haven't seen that one in particular though. I'd have to look into that.
Yeah, that's just what somebody's asking in the chat.
Yeah. I'm looking at the chat too. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But
Yeah, it was fun.
yeah, I
Again,
loved it. And always up to talk about Enies Lobby or Water 7, you know?
What's your favorite arc is Impel
Okay,
Down.
Impel Down. So that's a little ways off for you. So it's not that far off. So there's Thriller Bark, and then Saba Odi, and then there's Amazon Lily, and then Impel Down. So it's 4 arcs away from you. But a lot of stuff happens in between all that. So, in between all that. So, don't rush anything, but read it at your own pace is what I can suggest. And just, you love the story, and that's all it is.
100%. That's what I've been telling people. People are like, read One Piece, read One Piece. I'm like, I'm reading at my own pace. I'm gonna finish it eventually.
Dude, it takes me forever. Like, I was reading JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and I'm in part 4, and I stopped halfway through part 4, and I didn't finish it for like a year. It's just how I am with reading stuff,
100%. I'll same here. I'll read like 30 or 40 chapters of something, maybe at once, and then I take a massive breather.
Oh yeah, same thing with me.
Come back to the same series. So yeah, I'll have to re-invite you for the Impel Down one if you're down.
That'll be fun. Yeah. Because Impel Down, I'm always down to talk about that. That's my favorite arc in the whole story. Yeah. So we'll get to that when we get to that. But enjoy the story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one last question to end it off: if you could live on an island you've seen at this point in the story, which one would it be? I'd be Skypiea.
Go ahead.
I'd be Skypiea.
You'd be Skypiea. I would probably live on Vacation Island, which is an island that shows up right before Little Garden that nobody remembers, but it's an island all about vacations. It's like the vacation retreat in One Piece. It's the place Mr. 3 and Miss Golden Week were on before they went to go to Little Garden and fight there. But yeah, there you go. There's my answer.
That sounds like a blast.
All right. Yeah. All right. You have a good night, man.
You as well, man. See you around.
See you, man.
Alrighty, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching the stream. If you guys haven't subbed, subscribe, drop a like, comment, check out Tekking's channel in the link. I post mostly Bleach and Chainsaw Man videos, but I'm gonna have some One Piece content coming out here and there. And Tekking, he posts One Piece, Bleach, pretty much any kind of content. So yeah, check out his channel. Great content. Love his videos. And I'll see you guys in the next stream. Thanks for subscribing. You can also follow me on Twitter. It's not in the link in the description, but if you go to my last video, the last one's a prank video, by the way. It's a joke. It's a meme. But there still should be my Twitter in the link if you want to drop me a follow there. But yeah, I'll see you guys.